let's go to the. Well, we've already kind of stepped on the negatives, but maybe we should go to the negatives.
I have one negative, and I thought it was a little slow to start. Like the whole building up to where is Odysseus right now was. I mean, it wasn't bad at all. It just took a little longer than I thought it should.
I thought that initially off rip, and then watching it the second time, they were. I mean, they still could have cut some. There was some fat in there, but they did add much necessary context for people who didn't actually know the story. And like, I think sometimes, at least in my head, I sort of assume that everyone went through sort of like a similar education to me, where they, had an English teacher who said you have to read through this poem and write a paper about it. But like, I think those were slow steps that needed to happen in order to set up, for instance, they set up the dog at the beginning. So when the dog's lying in the pile of crap at the end, like, we understand that he's setting up the relationship with like the blind guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's all sorts of things that are being set up for the final scene that at the beginning you're watching it, you're like, what is this? But it does.
And it pays off.
It does
at the end very well.
I wish there was more deception. Like in the book, Odysseus is like, we obviously saw with like the Trojan horse thing, like he's a deceitful guy. That's what he does. But they cut out a bunch of stuff like that Cyclops scene, right? When they kind of just went gung ho, we're gonna stab him in the eye. In the book, he talks.
He talks to him. Yeah.
He talks.
I wish
goes,
they. Yeah.
My name is Nobody.
And
there's a whole thing about the Cyclops. He eventually does get poked in the eye, and he goes, "Oh my gosh,
yeah,
nobody poked me in the eye. Dad, go get Nobody."
Yeah,
and
okay.
and there was also a certain level of arrogance that I thought was missing from Odysseus. Like, in the book, he tells the Cyclops' name at the end.
Haha, you got mogged by Odysseus. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, you got
and that's
mogged
why
by
Poseidon's
Odysseus.
mad.
And that's why Poseidon got mad at him. But they had to. I guess they wanted to replace it by just shooting a kind of meaningless arrow that kind of went against Odysseus's beliefs for the rest of the movie.
Well, yeah, that was more of a revenge shot, though. Like,
because he spits the armor out.
He shoots it and then says, like, that was for all the men, essentially. But, like, honestly, I agree. Like, they should have leaned into that trope, because that's really what he's known for, like, as a character.
So that's just a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but, like, if they would have had him be like that the entire time, it sort of goes against the whole I regret the Trojan horse plot point at the end. Like, then it's not consistent. I'll give Nolan the flowers in the sense where I thought his character of Odysseus was consistent throughout the film, which is helpful because, if not, then he's sort of just this bipolar guy, and I never really understand, like, who he is. So, although he's not, Odysseus in, like, a traditional sense, he's Odysseus in Nolan's mind, at least consistent, which is nice. I appreciate that, but
I think it makes it easier for you to root for him.
True.
If there's not a bit of you that's like, guys,
real Odysseus was pretty stanky. The witch that turns his men into a pig, like in the poem, he sleeps with her, and
for like a year, no?
Yeah,
like
and
for
then
a long
Calypso,
time.
They fall in love. Yeah. Like the real character of Odysseus is a cheater, and he's arrogant, and he took no issue with sacking Troy. In fact, he probably felt great pleasure. And then he sacked the suitors, and he took his throne, and I'm Odysseus, and I'm the one who shot you, Cyclops, and
yeah, and I guess it makes sense why, especially with our 21st century, like, people getting offended by everything, why you and also, yeah, it would be incredibly difficult to root for a guy like that, because if you met Odysseus in real life, the way the poem portrayed, he would kind of be the most arrogant guy ever, and he would
cheer for the suitors.
Yeah, he'd be terrible.
Which is why it didn't bother me at all that they changed it completely.
Well, you mean the
how he felt bad for everything.
Maybe let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about essentially my big rub with the movie. My big rub with the movie. I mean, like there are a bunch of people who've talked about 100 different things about the DII casting or whatnot. I don't really care that much. But like the Odysseus coming to the end of the film and regretting the Trojan horse and regretting that sort of deception that he did really bugged me because it completely goes against, like I said, the character of Odysseus, and I understand that like that would be sort of a tough person to root for, like if he's consistently that way throughout. But honestly, I thought it was pretty dumb, and like I don't know, it seemed like a bunch of virtue signaling to people who, you know, like to a society that thinks like every war is bad and like aggressors are always bad and that sort of thing. But I don't know, that rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like that. I thought of anything that really went against the heart of the Odyssey, and especially didn't make sense concerning the Trojan War before that and them going to retrieve Helen, which is why I was confused when Helen was so like, ooh, I can't believe you came and saved me. That guy in the black armor was really the worst, which is why
Well, he was.
yeah, I mean he was the worst, but the way the movie like framed that up is like, oh, what was his name, Agamemnon or whatever.
Agamemnon.
He was the worst.
Like
but
he sort of sparked
super
the Trojan
cool.
War in order to like gain monetarily, which I mean is kind of dumb.
Yeah,
but
I still give it 5 out of 5. Didn't bother me a bit.
No, I don't hate the like not making Odysseus like a total jerk, but I do agree with Anthony a little bit on like the whole like, oh, war is dumb all the time, and you know, peace and love, man. Like that, it is hard in an action movie that is about, you know,
War.
Odysseus, about war, to be like, oh, it actually was all dumb. Like it is a little bit inconsistent.
well, and
I think Nolan does a good job of it. Like he builds it throughout the movie, and he like in the little scenes, like the Cyclops, right? Like, he did everything right with the Cyclops, and then it was like, oh, he got a little out of hand, and was like, oh, vengeance, and he was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Or like even the thing with the pigs, like the way what's her name, Xerxes? Cersei? Yeah, her. Like the way that she's like, oh, they're like pigs, they're all just pigs, and then like kind of the way it's doing the same thing with the suitors, and it's like, oh, we all suck, like men are really the worst, not like people are really the worst, and we're always just gonna, you know, destroy things and crap all on things. And
I think that
burn
was a shot at
things.
the male gender. Yes.
Yeah, probably. But like I thought that like the way Nolan made that consistent throughout the whole film, and he brought that up in things like Cersei's, and I thought he did a good job once he made the decision that he was going to do that.
Yeah, which is why I think I can have all these complaints and still say it's a 4 out of 5 movie, because at least he was consistent. Besides, I think the Anne Hathaway thing, that wasn't consistent for like that one moment. He was consistent in his storytelling throughout. Do I think he always hit the right sort of themes or what the characters were portrayed like? No, but at least it was like not sort of fluctuating throughout, which made it, you know, still a good film. Like I still really enjoyed it.
And what brings it down from 5 stars to 4 stars for you? Like, what's the star? This is just Attack Anthony session right now.
I think like taking down, like there were sort of a death by a couple paper cuts concerning like maybe like one of the half of the stars, like Helena Troy thing.
Half of the stars, Helena Troy.
No, like Helena Troy being upset that the Trojan War happened, and Hathaway's weird like I want to be king.
You tell me that one sentence brought down a whole star. Well, half a star.
No,
for you.
you're
Let
missing.
him cook. Let him
You're
cook.
missing
Let
it.
him cook.
There were small things small things that happened in the film that brought it down to one of those half stars, and then also to bring it down to 4 was the fact that I didn't like how Odysseus was particularly portrayed.
At the end. Or just
Throughout
sorry,
the
sorry,
film.
yeah. Okay.
So one of the half stars, was regarding Odysseus, and the other one was sort of just like a bucket of just sort of grievances that I had against certain parts of the film. But like I said, I still think a 4 out of 5 movie is like a great movie.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Like I don't think just because Christopher Nolan made a great film, I have to be just like 5 stars. Thank you,
Well,
Christopher Nolan.